What if you could build your own support ticketing system inside of HighLevel? We can do this with custom forms, websites, and custom menu links embedded right inside the HighLevel platform. So don't pay for any other software in order to build your own support ticketing process. You can build your own right within your sub account. My name is Andrew, and let me show you how. Now we're going to focus on 3 key parts of the support ticketing process. First, accepting those tickets, which we'll do with a custom form, then tracking those tickets, which we can do with tasks, and then automating the resolution of those tickets using automations. Let's get started by building a form under Sites, Forms, and we can either do this with a form or a survey. I would recommend just using a form to keep things simple, and you can either create one from scratch or you can use one of the form templates. We'll go ahead and make one just from scratch. And what we're going to add is a couple of fields just to collect our customers' problems, whatever they are struggling with. We don't need to collect things necessarily like their phone, but collecting their email would be helpful just to make sure we have some sort of unique identifier. So make sure you have something like that, not just their name. Alternatively, you could have them put in their agency name or something like that, but their email will work fine. So our customers will put in their email, then we'll add in our custom fields. So we can do this by simply just using our quick add on the left-hand side. And the first thing that I like to add within support ticketing forms is either a single or a multi drop-down for the category of their request. This helps you in the support process to make sure you know what they're actually asking, what it's in relation to. And then for our options, we can say something like technical support. We can then add in another option for strategic support or whatever really fits your specific use case. And last, we'll just say other. You can add whatever options you want for your customers. So we'll do that. We'll make sure that this is required. We'll add a placeholder for select below. And then lastly, I would always recommend including a multi-line text field for people to add additional notes. This is helpful so they can put in any additional comments or anything else you need to know in order to better resolve their ticket. Then we can just say submit ticket. And then just like that, we have a quick little support form. You can make these look much better if you want, but this is how I would create one. Then from here, we can either embed this on a website or we can just use the form link itself. Those are our 2 sort of options. If we want to just use the form link itself and just keep things simple, we can click integrate. And then we will get a share link by going to share, and then we can click copy link here. Now, once we have this link or we have embedded this onto a website, which you can do very simply by just creating a basic website that has some more information for them and then embedding the form. Once we have that, we're going to add it as a custom menu link. Now we can add our custom menu link from the agency view. Make sure this says click here to switch to confirm that you are on the agency view. Then go to settings and then custom menu links. And then we will click create new. Then we will paste in this link URL to the form itself. We'll call this support. And then we can select an icon like a help icon or a question mark. Always works really well, I have found. Then make sure you have open link within the current window as an iframe selected. You don't need this on the agency sidebar. And then you can select sub accounts if you want to select specific sub accounts to see this, but I would recommend just select all sub accounts here, just like that. So that way all sub accounts are seeing the support because everyone needs the support. Then we can't exclude sub accounts if we want to. And then we can select our role-based visibility, just select all. And then that's all you'll need to do. You can just click save from here. Now, once you have that custom menu link saved, if you log into a sub account, you will see that link will now be at the bottom left of our agency. And whenever they open that, then our customers will see our support form where they can put in their email, they can select what they need help with, whether it's strategic, whether it's technical, whether it's other, and they can add in their additional notes and then submit this ticket. Those are the first 2 parts of the process. We have a way to accept support tickets. We have a way to show it to our customers to make sure that they can fill it in. Now, how do we manage those? And we're going to do this with our tasks infrastructure. So if you log into your agency sub account, wherever you are managing your actual business, this is the tasks infrastructure. If you haven't used this before, this makes it really helpful in order to manage any tasks, and we'll use this to manage our support tickets. So this makes things really easy. So in order to actually add tasks here upon form submission, we just need to click automations. Then we will create a new workflow. We will use our trigger for form submitted, and we'll select that support form, which we just created under the form is. Select that support form. We'll save that trigger, and then we will add a task action to add a task. That way, whenever someone submits that form, we'll add a new task for support needed. We will add in the email of the customer that needs that support, so our contact email. And then in our description, we can use those form fields which we just created. So we can select what do you need help with? That is the first field. And then we can select the other one, which was the additional notes, which we included in that support form. So that way this includes all of the support information for this ticket. And then we can assign this to whoever needs to handle the tickets. If it's just you, if it's nobody, you can just leave this blank. And then we can select a due date whenever we want to get these done. That way, whenever someone submits the form, it'll create a new task. We can save and publish this and we'll be good to go. Now in a customer sub account, you can see a little test here. We'll put in our email. We'll say we need technical support and we need help with websites. Then we can submit this ticket and this will run through our automation. We'll see under our enrollment, we'll see there is our test right here. We can go back. We'll see there is that add task action. And if we go over to the contact screen and look at our tasks, we can then see our support ticket right here for our customers. And there's lots of ways that we can resolve this ticket and manage it in the future. For this, whenever we select it, we can actually see all the information for the ticket itself, complete the ticket, actually reach out to the contact, make sure it's solved. And then the last thing that we can do, and we can set up a second automation for whenever this task is completed to actually reach out to the customer and get feedback from them and let them know that their support ticket has been closed. So we can use the trigger of task completed right here. We can add filters if we want for assigned users, especially if you can assign tasks to a user that is specifically for support, even if it's actually for a dummy user. What I mean by this is you can create a dummy user called support member and then assign all support tasks to that specific member. That way, this is only triggering whenever support tickets are created using the task infrastructure. That's kind of a creative way to get around it. So that way you're only running this automation whenever support tickets are finalized. So we're just doing it as myself for the assigned user, but that way, whenever a support ticket is completed, we can then send an email to the customer, letting them know that their support ticket has been completed. We can say, thank you for working with us. We can include a review request. We can do so much more from there, get feedback, make sure that their problem is completely solved. So this is a great way to actually manage support tickets using HighLevel without having to build anything crazy, without having to pay for another software, and it's all embedded right in one place. So I'd highly recommend you use this sort of system, especially if you're starting out and you need some way to manage support tickets for your agency or for your SaaS. Hey, as always, I hope you learned something new. I hope you found this helpful. If you want to learn more about this sort of process, you can check out the blog or you can leave a comment on this video if you have any questions. As always, my name is Andrew, and thank you very much for watching.